What's up, mamas? I'm Rebecca. You're watching the Reseller Mom Show. Thank you for joining me today for another Reseller Momversations. Today's episode number 11, and I have Miss Samantha with me, Thrifty Bird. She's on Instagram, she's on YouTube, and we are going to have a great chat for Momversations today. Hi, Samantha. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Did I see that you go by Sam or Samantha?
Either or, it doesn't matter.
I think I saw Sam one spot, and then I saw Samantha in another, and I just want to be mindful. So welcome. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
So I'm Samantha, Thrifty Bird on Instagram. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a Navy veteran, military wife.
So for your service.
Thanks. It's so weird when people say that because I'm just like, But my husband's still serving, and we still travel all over the place. So, I'm Hispanic. My husband's Italian.
Yeah.
Got a big household. Got a loud, big household. So, yeah. And I've been a reseller for 3 years now.
Great. And you're full-time?
Yes. I just started full-time last month.
Awesome. Yeah, because I thought I saw that on your YouTube, from part-time to full-time or a day in the life kind of thing. So that's awesome. So, well, thank you for coming on board. We're going to chat a little bit about all that. And I didn't know that you were a veteran. So again, thank you for your service. My husband is a veteran of the 82nd Airborne. And he's always sometimes a little like he doesn't know what to say back.
Yeah.
But we saw someone, I don't know if it was in a movie or what, and they say, when someone says thank you for your service, they say thank you for your support. And he was like, okay, I could do that, because he does feel weird about it. And he's like, I could totally say that back, and at least now I feel like I have something that I can immediately say back to show that I appreciate what they said without it being awkward, So I don't know if that would work for you. But that's cool. Now, where did you say where you guys are? Where are you?
We're in Virginia.
Virginia. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's, and your husband is Navy too?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
he's been in for 13 years.
Wow. And that's when you met?
We met in boot camp.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
There must not be, and I know this isn't a show about that, but I'm just a lot of women in the Navy, or like of all the branches, is it fewer women in the Navy, or is that a more
I don't know. There's a lot of women in the Navy. I don't see very many on ships because, we get pregnant and stuff. So we're not allowed to be on ships once we get pregnant.
Right.
But there's quite a few. I'm not quite sure which branch doesn't have most women, but there's a lot of women in the Navy.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I guess I wouldn't have thought so much, just because and it's just more like you're out there. There's not like, I don't know. I shouldn't even speak about it because I don't really know. So let's just keep it reselling. That's a whole other thing. That's a whole other show. One of the things I wanted to ask you about was, so you have 3 children and you went from part-time to full-time. So was it part-time and you were in the military, or part-time you had another job and then the kids as well?
I was part-time and a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
Before I became a reseller, I was working, but daycare was cutting into everything, all of my profits.
Yeah.
So I was paying around $1,400 a month for daycare and not bringing home very much. So I decided to be part-time, stay home with the kids. So, that's what I did. My youngest is 5. He just started kindergarten. Okay. So that's why I was able to stay with him and, hang out with him. He was my little sourcing buddy. And I mean, it was fun, but honestly, like trying to be a reseller as a stay-at-home mom is tough. It is so tough.
So tough.
So tough. I don't know how some mothers can homeschool and resell at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, bless you for doing it.
Right, absolutely. And actually, I'll just make the point now, and then I should probably put it on Instagram. I've been meaning to ask if there was anyone specifically that is a homeschooling, reselling mom that stays home and does, that doesn't have, a lot of childcare or anything like that, because you're also doing the homeschooling. Because I think that conversation would be interesting. And it could be that I've had someone that is, but we just didn't discuss it. But I don't think so. I feel like it would have come up. But yes, I am kind of curious on that. I don't think I'm of the mind to do that for Geo, but I am open to it. / if something should go haywire at school, like he's not in kindergarten yet. He's just in a little part-time school, so it's like little part-time preschool. So that's where he is right now. So for us, like, I don't know what it's going to be like when we get into the real school system and kindergarten and all of that, but I just can only imagine. We're in Florida, and I just hear all kinds of stuff. So I just don't know. We'll see. I mean, we're in a nice spot, but I don't know. So, okay. So you said your youngest is in kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
So you have 2 older.
Yes.
So tell me the whole rundown.
My oldest is in 6th grade.
Okay.
It's like saying it is like, whoa.
Wow.
My middle child is in 5th grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So and they were obviously way before reselling and stuff. So they're seeing it the last 3 years. They were in, a little bit of lower grades, but still very much in school. Mm-hmm. You had your little one who's in kindergarten now. He was probably like 2 or so.
Yes.
When you really got into it. So getting into it, having 2 school-age kids, like if you go back to when it was the beginning of reselling for you and you just kind of found out it was a thing maybe, or however you found out about it and you're just getting into it, how is that with like 2 older school-age kids and then the toddler at home?
It was pretty easy in the beginning because it was just to have a little bit of money to take them to the movies or buy them ice cream. So I wasn't really looking at it as a business type.
Yeah.
It was just like, we have a whole bunch of stuff in the house that we want to get rid of. And I always grew up thrifting. That was my survival because we didn't have a lot of money when I was a kid. And so I wasn't like embarrassed or ashamed to go to thrift stores. That was just my thing. I've always been doing that. And then I don't know how I came across it. I think it was maybe I watched a YouTube video about something like it, and then it directed me towards Instagram, and then I found a huge community of resellers, and I was like, people are making money doing this.
Oh, yeah.
So I started doing it, and then it got hard during the summer when the older kids were out of school, and I had to take 3 kids sourcing.
Yeah.
And with my husband being in the military, he doesn't work a 9 to 5. He's, he's gone sometimes, or he has to go in super early. He can't come home and watch the kids, So that was really tough. Yeah. I had to navigate 3 kids sourcing, trying to figure out what brands were. And in the beginning, I picked up like terrible brands because I didn't have time to just sit there and be like, what is this? Obviously I've progressed over the years because I'm making better sales now, thankfully. But yeah, it was different. And then once I decided to go full or part-time, I guess full-time, part-time, that's when I started making schedules and started figuring out when the best time was to go sourcing, and taking my 2-year-old who stopped napping. So yeah, he was done napping, but he was like a big giant ball of energy. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. So taking him sourcing, him asking me a million questions and stuff like that, it was just like he made up for those 2 not being in the picture.
Now, and you're in Virginia where your husband now is stationed, or you both were stationed. I don't know if that's what they say in the Navy.
Yeah, stationed.
But that's not where you're from. Like, do you have family there? Or you're from elsewhere?
Yeah. So we have 0 family here.
Yeah.
One of my best friends who has followed us through our military career is actually here. It all came full circle. It was nice. But I'm originally from South Texas, Brownsville, Texas.
Okay.
And my husband is from Newport Richey, Florida.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, and I just asked because I know, for me, my mom is in New Jersey, and then, we're here in Orlando, and we have some family here. My sister is here, but she works full time and is busy and is single and wants to do her own thing. And she's also a reseller. So when I want to go do reseller things, usually she's coming with me, not helpful in the childcare situation, because she wants to go shopping with me, and I want to go shopping with her. And then my husband has some family, but they all have various kids and are busy too. So it's hard when you either don't have family or just not like, the grandparents to kind of help out with like, hey mom, watch the kids. I'm going to go run to the thrift store or something like that. So, I mean, for those that have that network and, those parents or whomever to help, the lady down the street or whatever, it's nice to showcase all these stories because you can feel grateful for the things that sometimes you forget about in your situation. Like I'm very grateful for certain things that I have that make reselling easy for me, like a nice clean bins. I put a post on Instagram and like everybody's like, you got 2 carts to store at the bins, your bins are so clean. And I'm like, I forget that I am really lucky that it's safe, it's clean, and I can get 2 carts to sort my stuff, where most people are like, having to deal with all kinds of stuff. It's nice to, hear everybody's situation of when, you can have someone help you out with the kids or, whatever. And I will say that I noticed that your husband helps model clothes for you sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like he is supportive of it and helpful with it. No, yes.
Yeah, he is. He didn't really understand it in the beginning.
Right. They never.
But we watched a lot of like house flipping shows. So he understood that it was pretty much the same thing. You just get something for a certain cost and you flip it for more. It's, the easiest, I won't say it's the easiest thing to do, but it's pretty easy. And
complicated. It's not necessarily easy, but it's not complicated.
Yeah. It's not. So he was like, okay, just do whatever you want. Cause I'm very spontaneous. I am not a 9-to-5 person. I can't do it. I've always held different kinds of jobs because I get bored real easy with one thing, but with reselling, it's not the same thing every single day. So I love it. So he was just like, okay, do whatever you want to do, whatever. And then I started making a little bit of money and he's like, keep doing it. Keep doing it. So he jumped in and he sources men's stuff for me.
Nice.
So whenever he gets the chance, and that's why I'm able to have men's stuff in my closet. He searches brands, he does all that stuff. So he takes care of the men's side while I focus on the women's and the home goods and stuff.
Good. And do you have a pretty good mix? I looked at your closet, but just briefly, not enough to see. Like, do you have a lot of men's stuff that he's doing a lot, or just a handful here and there?
Just a handful here and there. It's hard because I don't really have a good way of photographing men's stuff if he's not there to help me. Gotcha. Just because I don't have like the right setup, and I'm kind of meticulous when it comes to how I want things to look.
Your pictures look really good.
Thank you. And I'm always constantly fighting myself, like, is this right? Is this wrong? But he puts me in check in that. He really does. He helps me out a lot.
Yeah, and you model a lot of your clothes too. I saw a lot of shoes, and then I saw a lot of you modeling the clothes. Now, the thing with modeling that I've always found is like, what if you're buying all kinds of sizes? Like, and I didn't look at which sizes, but I just saw it was you modeling them. Do you model as many sizes as you can fit in, and like if it's a plus size, you kind of like cinch it, or is that how you do it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I can wear a size 6. In some brands I can wear a size 4, and then in other brands I can wear a size 8. So I'm just all over the place because I'm like top heavy and bottom heavy. So it's like, it's weird. But I think it's good that I'm able to do that because it shows people who are kind of shaped like me, like, hey, I can wear this in that size. Right. And it looks fine on her, so it might look fine on me.
Right.
And then I also try to make disclaimers and, of course, add measurements because everybody's different.
Right.
But when it comes to shirts that are a little bit too big and the mannequin isn't going to show it right and hanging it up isn't going to show it right, I'll do like the tuck it in into the pants, and that normally helps out. Or I'll do like the waist pose, like the just that kind of thing.
Every once in a while I would put something on in the beginning. Now I have like the hanging half mannequin, so most of the time things just go on there, but she must be a size small, Amy. And so that doesn't work for everything. Cause like, especially like bathing suits, I'm in Florida. I find a lot of bathing suits that like selling bathing suits, but then sometimes they just like, I put it on, I get to pull it all the way up, and then it goes.
Yeah.
But, does anybody ever like say weird stuff? I've just never wanted to model anything. Like, I just feel like either people are going to say weird things or mean things. And I have a thick skin, but do you get any weird comments or anything from modeling?
No, not really. I have had people like certain particulars. I wouldn't say they're skimpy, but they're just not my style. They show a little bit more skin than I would be comfortable with. I've had people comment, well, can you model this? And I'm like, no, dude, I'm not modeling this for you.
Gotcha,
It's on the mannequin. It shows what it's going to look like on a mannequin, or it's hanging up.
Right.
I'm not modeling that.
Right. And that's like, when people ask, and, it could be a girl and just wanting to see how it's on. It could be, some creepy person, who knows, you never know. But like, I just say, I'm so sorry, no modeling, or I'm so sorry that doesn't fit. And I just I've just blanket always said that. And I just have like a little text replacement that I put. So I don't like to give a lot of thought when I'm responding, because then I get all worked up about crazy questions and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I was curious about that, because I was like, I wonder how she handles that. Like, maybe I'm making a bigger deal out of it in my head than it actually is. Maybe I'll try.
No, but I do notice that it's on the more revealing clothing that people ask me to model. So sometimes my mind kind of goes there, like, is it just somebody being a little bit pervy or somebody being curious? But I always respond professionally.
Of course.
But in my mind, I'm going to be like, I don't know.
People only knew the responses that I gave in my mind. I'm feisty. I'm from Jersey. I have a lot to say. You don't want to know what I'm actually saying in my head.
Exactly.
And then the other thing I wanted to ask you, I have like my list of the things I didn't want to forget, and then we can obviously talk about whatever, but you won the Make a Deal days.
I did.
Cool. My sister won once. You won. I mean, obviously I see people on Instagram that I follow and they post when I win. So I'm like, okay, clearly it happens. But how was that? Like, were you trying? Was it just completely like you sent out like 2 offers and it happened, or?
I wasn't really trying. I like when it's Make a Deal days, because I'm the type of person that's like fingers crossed maybe. So, I'll just send out offers, and I was on my way to take my daughter to cheer practice. It was like 6 o'clock in the afternoon or in the evening. And then I got a notification from Poshmark, and I was like, oh my gosh.
That's
but
awesome.
Then after you win,
everybody wants you to buy.
Oh my gosh. It was like everyone was sharing my closet. People were liking my stuff. And I'm just like, I don't know how many of you actually like my stuff because you like it, you want to buy it, or if it's because of this. And then people were like styling me. And it was just so many notifications that I had to put the phone away. Like I had to, because it was too much for about 24 to 48 hours of that.
I thought about that, like sending a note to the winners and saying, hey, but only because like what my sister was saying when she was like, I don't know, like, how am I going to spend $100 in one, you want to make the most of it or whatever, but I guess you don't have to spend it all in one closet, right?
Yeah, no.
So you'd have to pay the shipping, of course, or have that come out of your earnings, but you could spread it across. But my thing is I have a really large closet, and I think it would do well for someone to go to a larger closet, because then you'd have more options to pick from, whether you're picking stuff to sell or you're picking stuff for yourself. Perhaps in a larger closet, you would have more opportunity to spend it all in one place and make the most of your shipping. So that was my genius idea, but clearly everybody else has that genius idea.
Yeah. Yeah. That I thought about that, going to somebody's closet and just splurging, but then it was just like, I'm looking for particular pieces, and not everybody has those pieces. So right. I didn't really have a choice.
And I know you posted, but then I saw it, I got excited, I put it in my notes to ask you about it, and then I didn't read the whole post. So did you buy things to resell, or did you buy things for yourself? Have you already finished spending it? How?
Yeah, I bought stuff for myself. That's all gone.
God.
I had to. But yeah, well, I mostly purchased all that stuff so I could make a YouTube video about it and be like, this is what I got. Cause I was like, hey, here's an idea for a YouTube video finally.
Perfect.
And, so I spent it all on myself. I was going to maybe shop for like mystery boxes, but then it was just too many like to search for, and reading all the reviews. And I'm just like, I don't know this person. I don't know if I can trust them. And it's just, I was like, let me just buy for myself. Cause
and you don't have to worry about it. And then you could always resell it, because I find like if I'm buying something for myself, even at the thrift store or wherever, because I don't buy a lot on Poshmark, but when I do, I'm like, if it doesn't work out, I can always resell it. And at least I was buying it with my intention in mind, not just to resell. So I probably spent a little bit more on it because it was for me, but at least I can always recoup some, if not all.
Yeah.
So
that's what I do when I buy stuff. I don't get too attached to certain things. I'll just be like, I'm done with it. Let me put it on Poshmark.
Yeah. Well, and now for sourcing, do you shop at the bins? Do you a Goodwill person? You do what is your sourcing repertoire?
So I've only been to the bins twice. It's 30 minutes out of the way. We have a really nice bins, but I suffer from allergies. So every time I've gone, I've gotten really bad sinus headaches.
Yeah.
So I can't go in there anymore. But I do go to Goodwills. We have like 5 or 6 within a 15-mile radius of me.
Oh, good.
Then we have these CHKD thrift stores, and it's for the hospital, the children's hospital.
Oh, okay.
And their prices are really good. They have Military Monday. It's 25% off of each item. Nice. And then everybody on Tuesday gets 25% off each item. So I can go twice and enjoy it. And yeah, their prices aren't extravagant. There's like some places that I stay away from because of course they find what resellers are selling and they're like, oh, this is a juicy couture jacket for like $30. Like, no, you're not getting that.
That's good. And so since you're going to more of a retail location, that's a thrift store, that's why it's easier to bring the kids. Cause like, I mean, there are people I'm sure that do bring their kids to the bins, but like, I don't bring Geo. Mm-hmm. It's too crazy. I'm trying to be in work mode. I don't want to be in also mom mode kind of thing. Yeah. So because you have the 3 and though you only have to deal with I guess now you don't have to deal with any of them because they're all in school. So when you go now, you go when they're at school. Mm-hmm. Yep. You spend all day? Do you hit a few stores in a day? What's kind of your?
So I sometimes I'll source twice a week and sometimes once a week. Okay. I just source enough so that I can spread it all out because if I source every single day, I'm just going to have piles of stuff to list, and I don't want to do that to myself.
Yeah. Do you find ever like, okay, if you set aside, and again, your kids are in school, so you have a little bit more flexibility, though I'm sure they all have, like you said, you have cheer and everybody's got extracurricular things. Like pressure, like today's my day to source. Mm-hmm. I need to find things today because I'm out of stuff to list and I need it to last me the whole week. And so even if it's not so great that day, you feel pressured to buy things because that's your day to do it? Or are you very disciplined and don't let that creep in?
Yeah, sometimes I will tell myself I need to get out there because I have maybe like 3 things that I need to list. And then I have a pile where it's like, do I really want to list this stuff or do I not? And this is just me evolving as a reseller. And then I'll be like, well, I'm not going to list any of the stuff in this pile. It's all going to donation, or I'm going to use it for rags, or I'm going to make like hair scrunchies out of it or something. So then I tell myself I have to go sourcing, but I give myself a spending limit. I don't spend more than $50 in one trip.
Okay.
At least I try not to.
Okay.
Because I want to be smart with my money and and that helps me be smart with what I pick. I do find a lot of bread and butter items. It's rare if I find something that will flip for like hundreds of dollars.
Right.
That's just, it's not going to happen here.
Yeah, I don't think that's commonplace for a lot.
Yeah.
It's hard because everybody shows their best of the best stuff. And I'm just like, God, why am I not finding 10 Lululemon every time I go, or 10 girlfriend and mother jeans or whatever? I'm like, I'm lucky if I find. Actually, yesterday I was at the Consignment store selling things back. And I said, I'm going to go through from start to finish all of their jeans just to see if they had anything that maybe they priced low, but I felt like I could get, a decent amount for or something, just because most of the time I don't buy unless it's like clearance.
Yeah.
Clearance. And I found a bunch, but they're all selling, and which I suspected they sell things there for basically what we're trying to sell them for, at a consignment store. And that's fine. But I did see like Eileen Fisher jeans. I barely find Eileen Fisher. I've never found Eileen Fisher jeans. But there were some jeans there that were of the lower end. And I'm like, they just kept coming up and coming up. I'm like, maybe I should just take a look at, even if it's a lower end, like I have some of my bread and butter things. I'm like, maybe I could expand even my bread and butter, because my whole thing now is when you go to the bins or when you go to a thrift store, and for you, if you have a limit, maybe this wouldn't apply. But for me, I'm trying to limit my trips. I don't want to go all the time. I don't want to have to pay tolls. I don't want to drive 30 minutes to get there all the time. So if I can get more in less trips, that would be my preference. And like, what if I could pick up more things that would yield money while I'm there, instead of saying, no, that's not good enough for my closet, I'm trying to up my ante, but I could have still made profit and I was there anyway. So there's no extra effort to have picked that item up. Does that make sense? This is what I've been really thinking about over the last, like, you know, week or so, is how can I maximize my sourcing trip and effort to yield the most profit, instead of thinking, let me leave items on the table because I only want to get high profit items. Then you end up having less to sell overall.
Yeah.
Do you have a thought on that? Just curious. It's nice to get other people's like opinions about things. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
No, you're good. Not really, because I don't know. I'm always trying to find things to better my reselling, and because I just started going full time, it's kind of like I'm starting from scratch again.
Okay.
So I like hearing other people's like, well, maybe if I do this, and then, you know, it kind of puts me in that mindset of like, that's a good idea. I'll like take ideas from other people. I won't always like copy everybody and stuff. I'm not trying to find like Lululemon or whatever everybody else is finding, because I know it's not going to happen all the time.
Right.
It's rare. I've found Lululemon maybe twice in the 3 years that I've been, you know, and we have a Lululemon pop-up here.
Oh.
So I'm surprised I don't find it often, but some people like to hold on to that stuff, and I don't blame them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I do what I'm capable of doing now. And, you know, in the future, I'm hoping that I'm able to find more bang for my buck.
Right.
You know,
right. Yeah. I mean, and that's
still learning.
Yeah. And me too. And I think you have to keep learning, because things are always going to change, whether the platforms are changing or what brands and styles are in. I mean, what if we go to the point where literally like no one's wearing band? I mean, and I don't sell band tees, but that's a whole thing. There are stores that just carry band tees. Like, what if that's not a cool thing anymore? What if boho vibes go out the way? I mean, I could care less about that. Like, I'm not, hello, like I don't even know what we would classify my non-look as, but like, you know, personally, but like, I'll pick up all the boho things and try to sell them. But when that goes out the window, people will have closets full of, you know what I mean? Like, you have to constantly be changing. And I think too, like your business model may change also, depending on what goes on with your primary sourcing ways. Like, depending on what goes on with Goodwill may affect how or what you can buy, like, seriously. And now I've been doing a lot more of the local closet clear out, which has been working well.
Yeah.
I'd like to be doing more of it. I'd like to rely more on it, but you know, you just never know who's going to reach out and say, I have stuff for you to look at. But you have to keep revising and changing and stuff. So, I mean, it's good that we do share all of these ideas, because you never know what you can interpret or what I can interpret from you and incorporate into my thing. So I think that it's important.
Yeah. And I sell like a lot of loft, which is weird because I never saw myself as a person wearing loft, because I'm like, I'm a cool mom. I don't know, you know, but now I'm like, I can see why people like this.
I like loft.
I find loft everywhere. I find it. And I'm like, you know what? These pieces are so cute and they're so versatile, and you can wear them with everything. You can dress them up or whatever. And so that is my best selling brand.
And what types, like, are you picking up loft jeans, or definitely more the career stuff, or everything, or is there
everything?
Okay.
Dresses. If I find a loft dress that is in a beautiful print, beautiful style, then I will definitely pick it up, because I've sold so many loft dresses, and mostly on eBay. And then like this shirt that I'm wearing, this nice little button down, is from Loft.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was going to sell it, but then I fell in love with it. So it's not happening.
Well, and I was going to say, you have a very, like, you know, you said that you kind of grew up thrifting or whatever, and, you know, you model some of your stuff, and I saw a lot of the things. So I don't know if you're just modeling it to sell it, or that is your personal style, but, you know, in your Instagram, you have, you know, I love bird prints and cute prints and all, you know, for me, like, this is about as printy as I get. Like I'm very plain. I don't, like, that looks very nice on you. I don't even, like, I couldn't, like,
I like printed tops. I don't like printed bottoms so much, because they make me look bigger on the bottom.
Yeah, on the bottom too. I think that would be not okay. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So, but I like to keep my bottom simple. That was my dog. She just chirped at me. And so my tops are always printed. I always have to have a print. And if I do a solid, then I have to have something in my hair that's printed, like a scarf.
Okay.
I have to have prints. And I didn't start realizing that I dress like that until I started reselling. And I started paying attention to my closet more. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, you never know. I mean, if I started doing this with my closet, and now that it's the seasons are changing, I have to look at it again, but it would be like capri yoga pants and a tank top, and I got all the same kinds of tank tops and then basically all the same bottoms, so I don't have to think about it. Like, I'm that person that would wear the paper sack. If I didn't have to think about clothes, I wouldn't care. Like, just no desire to express myself in clothes. Like, it doesn't matter. But, and here I am selling clothing, but I get excited for things, not because of the fashion element, but because I know that someone will appreciate it. And that's good too, because I wouldn't, like, I think about if I find something really nice, would I keep it for myself just because I know it's a valuable thing? And I'm like, no, because I don't actually care about it. Mm-hmm. I'd rather someone get a great deal on it that does value whatever, that Lululemon thing or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think it's nice when you know, that you've found out more about your style. Now you have access to find all kinds of things. You can bring them in and out. Like you said, you get bored of stuff easily. Mm-hmm. So that's good. I'm looking here. I did want to ask a little bit about the YouTube channel, but before I do that, I wanted to ask, because I don't always talk to people that have older kids. A lot of us have just the younger kids or the kids at home with us and stuff. So the two older ones, are they into the fact that you're a reseller? Do they help in any way? Do they like certain aspects of it? Like, what are their thoughts?
They like it. They don't like going to the post office because they don't like dropping off the packages, but I make sure I reward them for that. Okay. You know, they're not just like, you know, free labor or whatever. But my daughter loves it because she's kind of like a fashionista. Okay. You know, she's 10, so, you know, that kind of thing. So she loves it because every time I would take her sourcing, she would go straight to the girls section and find all sorts of things that would match her style.
Nice.
So she loves that part. My oldest, he doesn't really care either way. Right. He just, you know, I'm paying him to drop off 3 packages or something. That's all he cares about.
Got it.
So that's it.
Like, because I guess I'm kind of just curious, would Gio ever, as he grows up, if kids knew, like if they say, what does your mom do? Or if they knew what she did or whatever, since he's older and he can explain it and he understands it more, like, does he have any, like, is there any kind of stigma at all? Like, your mom sells other people's clothes. Like, is there anything weird like that? Or is it most people are fine and cool and it's not odd?
He doesn't really talk about us. He doesn't talk about his parents at all. He doesn't. Yeah. People are like, what does your dad do? And he's like, oh, he's in the Navy. And then that's the end of the conversation.
And in that area, I'm sure that's the case with probably a lot of his friends or whatever. If you're on, is it a base? Do you call it a base?
Yeah, on base.
Posted, because in the Army it was post. So yeah. You know, so maybe they're all in that, like, do his friends have a military parent also? So that's
a lot of his do. Some of them are retired now. So, you know, they get it. It's boring to them.
Right.
But my daughter, she's excited about me being a reseller. Like, she'll talk to her friends about it. And her friends will be like, well, I bought clothes here and here. And she's like, well, my mom bought clothes at the thrift store. Like, she doesn't care. She does not care. She has, you know, she doesn't judge any kind of people. And she tells people if they say something about thrift store, she's like, well, what's so wrong with them?
Yeah.
And at that age, they don't really have a real answer.
Right.
So she just moves along, you know.
Right. Well, I think too, I mean, I can only imagine. I mean, I don't think of myself as a millennial. I looked it up the other day because I wanted to see what generation Geo was. And now I forget because it's just not in my brain pattern. Like, it's not one, it's anything past millennial. I don't even know what it is, but I've forgotten it already. But anyway, he's in a generation with your kid. And Z, maybe it's Z. I think it's Z. Anyway, so I think I'm more like not a millennial, but apparently according to being 82, you're like borderline in there. I don't know about you, but like the millennials, they talk about, you know, are all very much in the, you know, that the resale market is only going to get bigger because that, you know, whether they're into it for environmental reasons or just because it's cool to do that and they want quality or whatever. But then even the younger ones, I mean, I can imagine what your little guy and my little guy and, you know, your daughter at 10, what their thoughts will be once they're adults and will be making their buyer decisions. Like, it will probably be even more commonplace if it keeps growing the way it's supposed to grow. I mean, who knows what retail will look or shopping will look like for them, you know? So I think it's good that she knows about it and, you know, thinks that it's a good thing. And two, I think it's good for her as a girl, I mean, anybody, but to have confidence to be able to take something that someone may or may not say and be able to say something back and be completely confident in that situation for themselves.
Yeah.
You know? So that's good for her.
I wish I was at her age as confident as she is, because every time somebody would say something to me at her age and it was really mean, I would take it to heart and I would sit with it for a while.
Yeah.
But her, she's like, just dust it off. And I think it's just how we raised her. We raised our kids to be very, you know, other people's opinions really don't matter, that kind of thing. You know, I always tell them, what people think of you is none of your business. You know, and I've heard that saying before, so I instill that into them. It's like, you just care about what you think about yourself, and that's all that should really matter.
Yeah, I like how you said. It's funny, like right now, and I'm sure you would imagine, you know, Daniel Tiger is like a thing, and they have those little songs for all the little lessons. So anytime, like, you know, and so Gio will pick up on one, and then when he's playing, sometimes I'll hear him like say it over and over again. Like the probably the biggest one that affects him is Grown Ups Come Back, because obviously he goes to a little school, and so that was something that I would make sure that I would say to him, like, grown ups, you know, I'm not going to sing it, but for those in the Daniel Tiger part of their life, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. And so there's a couple of things that, you know, they have that he kind of sticks to. One about the potty, like a few made an impression on him. And so whenever I need to like get through to him, I try to make up a little song, kind of like it's a Daniel Tiger one, but it's not. It's not one that they've ever said. It's just my cockamamie thing that I made up so that I could get him to go along. So
survival.
Say the line again, so that way maybe I'll come up with one, so that way I can say that, because I like that.
What other people think of you is none of your business.
Okay. All right. Now I have it recorded, so I can go back.
Yeah. And it sounds bad, but when you think about it, it's really not at all.
I agree, because I mean, and I've told him sometimes he does a little bit of tattling. It's not the same exact thing, but there's a little bit of tattling. And I say to him, like, listen, what somebody's doing over there is none of your beeswax. Like, you need to mind your own P's and Q's. One of my mentors, when I had early job, you know, when I was getting into the workforce, she always told me, keep your eyes on your own paper. And, you know, for a child, that's going to mean something different because they're in school versus when you're an adult in your career or whatever. But I think, you know, telling them to be worried about you and you alone, or, you know, your family's opinions or whatever, but like with bullying and things like that, with social, you know, there's going to be so many outside forces that they are going to have to deal with. If they can have their own sense of self and not be worried about all of the rest of it, I think that's really good. But like I said, tying it back into reselling, I am always a little bit concerned. Like, I'm just curious if people think it's cool that this is what his mom does. Will it be a non-issue? You know, and then there's the YouTube element on top of it. So, you know, I'm curious about that for you too, because they're older and they obviously know what YouTube is, and maybe their friends did they find you on YouTube? Does that come up at all?
My daughter will watch me through the TV and I leave the room because I hate the sound of my own voice. So I'm just like, no, we're good. She'll sometimes share the link to her friends. I don't know. I think she's my biggest fan, which is crazy.
Great.
But I appreciate that she cares enough for that. My youngest, he just thinks I'm a YouTuber and I'm making millions of dollars, but that's not how that works. I have to tell him. He's like, how much YouTube money did you make today? I'm like, oh God, if only you knew.
That's so funny.
Yeah, my son doesn't really care. Like he's like, oh, you're on YouTube. That's cool. I'm like, okay.
The younger one, does he watch a lot of YouTube?
He does. He watches, well, not a lot, but he watches certain YouTube channels. He likes to watch video game channels, but we keep it to where it's like family video game channels. Like there's this one called FGTV, and it's a dad and his kids, and they all play video games. And there's another person called Kindly Kian, and he doesn't play anything that is bad, and he doesn't say bad words. Like we make sure that we give them the channels that they are allowed to watch.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I've only just, really gotten into YouTube since reselling. I really didn't pay much. I mean, I obviously knew what it was, but it wasn't until reselling where I really had something that I needed to find out about, that it wasn't like you just go and read it in a book somewhere, like go to YouTube to find out. And so I've just gotten into YouTube as a world, and mostly I only deal with reselling stuff, but the idea of it, when a little toddler is into something, whatever the flavor of the week is, he's into sharks this week, he's into alligators the next week, whatever it is, I guess conditioned him now to where if he says he wants to know about sharks, we go to YouTube and we watch things about sharks. And he knows now that you can just go to this online world and find out whatever you want. I mean, someday we'll really blow his mind when we tell him that encyclopedias used to do that. Like, he's like, what are you talking about? A book? Like, where are these books? What does that mean? But like, the idea that you can go and explore all of this cool stuff, I think is really interesting, and, something that we did not have, and it wasn't a world for us. So I was just curious if he was, if he's into YouTube as much as my little guy is, for finding out and just kind of experiencing the world. I mean, think about all the things that they're learning that they would have no idea about otherwise.
Yeah.
This morning he's like, I want to watch something about Spirit airplanes, because my mom just came to visit, so he knows that she comes on Spirit. So we watch other people's videos about the literally yellow planes running amok all over the airport. Like that's what we watched this morning. Like, so weird. So I'm like, I need to make a YouTube channel of just things that toddlers want to watch. Like, and make millions of dollars. But that's funny. Yeah, they're all so similar, and yet they're all so different too. Keep us guessing. Well, my timer did go off. I do want to be mindful of your time as well. We've got reseller moms that watch this stuff. Is there anything that you like to share, like to say? I mean, I hate to put people on the spot, but I always feel like it is an opportunity to share something that you think may be important for the other reseller moms that watch you and your channel, watch this channel. Anything that you'd want to leave us with?
I think it's just important to, know that you're never going to find that work-life balance. So don't even try. No. But it's important to, your kids are watching, and I think they're proud of you. Like, they're proud of you. I don't ever hear my kids say that they're proud of me, but they show it in little ways. Like my son, my youngest, he'll be like, oh, Mom, you're on TV. And he'll put it on for me because he thinks I want to watch myself, which I don't. And then my daughter, she'll share links to my YouTube channel, or she'll tell her friends at school the deals that I got on her clothes. And, my oldest, he'll help me out, as reluctant as he is, because, he's a preteen.
Right.
He helps me out, and he sees what I'm doing. They see what you do, and they, they're proud of you. So if you're doing it for them, if you're doing it, to feel like you're actually doing something, because I know stay-at-home mom guilt is a thing, like you feel like you're not contributing, like you're doing enough. You really are. So, don't try to find that work-life balance. Just live your life. Just do what you got to do, to survive.
I think that's great. And it's funny you say the you feel like you want to contribute, because I have a big chip on my shoulder about that, because I was in the workforce before, and I was a very career-oriented person, and I never had plans of being a stay-at-home mom. Like, not the way it was supposed to go. So, I never valued this work. I never really thought about this work. I never thought about it as work. And it just was like this non-thing to me. And so it is really hard not to feel like you're contributing in a financial way when that's the only way you know how to contribute. Because, you know, some people had good examples, and I have a fantastic mom, but she was a single mom. And so there were a lot of things around the house that I did not learn from her because we had a crazy life, because she was a single mom doing everything she had to do to get by. And so, you know, for people that are saying, my husband doesn't get why it's such a big deal to me to make my own money, or to make money to contribute to our finances or whatever. He's like, I don't understand why it's that big of a deal. I'm like, it's the deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal. It is important to me. I don't know how to tell you why. I'm like, you knew the person I used to be. All of a sudden, I'm not Betty Crocker chick. Like, where did she come from? Who is that lady? I don't care about making muffins. I don't want to make muffins. I don't even care if the muffins taste that good. Like, you know, like, I want to work. That's what I want to do.
Yes.
It's just funny you say that, because that's another thing. I like these conversations because I feel like somehow or another, you know, I do it on a weekly basis and it's with someone new, but these similar themes keep coming up with all, I mean, it may not be everyone. We obviously don't have the same exact life, but there are these underlining themes that we all kind of deal with. And that's why I started the channel, so that there would be a place to talk about those specific things. Because it's nice to hear what everybody's selling and what everybody's buying, but anyone can tell you that. Only reseller moms can talk about the things that we're dealing with. So thank you for bringing up some very interesting topics that I think we talked about today. And I'd love to have you back again in the future. I feel like I need to do like round 1 and then a round 2 with everyone, but there's so many new people that I'm excited to talk to as well. I don't know. Maybe I'll just
like, where are they now?
Yeah, well, it could be. I mean, and it would change. I mean, if we talked in 6 months from now, we have lots of things that are probably different, and everyone would be like, oh, we're not even picking up that brand anymore. You know, like it would be like it moves in light years. But thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
Uh-oh. I think my battery, my phone was like, hey, low battery for some reason.
Well, go ahead and tell everyone where they can find you. That way we don't lose you before that. So tell them all your handles.
So I'm on Instagram, Thrifty Bird, Poshmark. Same thing, Thrifty Bird. It's Thrifty_Bird. Yeah. And then I'm on YouTube at Thrifty Bird. And then I have a Facebook page. It's Thrifty Bird Boutique. Okay. But it's mostly, it runs into my blog. I'm trying to blog again. We'll see.
Okay. Oh, good. All right. I mean, some people do it. I don't know how you can wrap your mind. Like right now, doing a video or doing Instagram is probably all I could muster. Like, I feel like actually writing coherent sentences and words would be very difficult for me at this point in my life. So good for you that you can like get that out of you, because I don't think it would happen for me. But everyone go check out all of her stuff. I'm going to link everything below. You're not already following her, watching her videos, and just keep along with her journey. And thank you again for joining me today. And please go ahead, leave us some comments. Let us know what you're thinking about this or some of the topics that we talked about today. Like this video on the way out. And if you're new here and would like more reseller mom content to get more done, make more money, and stay sane while raising kids and reselling online, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel and to hers as well. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.